Hey everybody, welcome to today's video. Today is pretty much going to be a plain day for me makeup wise. I'm not doing a tutorial at all. I'm simply going to be just talking about Natasha Denona, my palettes. In particularly the mini palettes. I have 6 in total of the Natasha Denona mini palettes. And I have one that's a little bit bigger than the mini palette. I have a Bloom Blush and Glow palette, which absolutely love, and also I have a Midi palette, which is the Sunrise palette, and they're pretty much all the Natasha Denona palettes that I actually own. So it's not going to be actually a ranking video, although I will say which ones are my favorites, because I love each one of these eyeshadow palettes for the way they are, and I just don't really have one that's better than the other, although I do like I do have ones that are a little bit better than the other, I suppose, but I'm just not going to rank them. So the recent one obviously that I did add to the list was the Pastel palette, the Natasha Denona mini Pastel palette, which is this one here. And I did a tutorial using this for the very first time. Please excuse my nails, I did them, but now they're chipping, and yeah. So I absolutely love this. This has got to be probably my best one out of all of the mini palettes, so I guess we'll start off with that. But yeah, these shades are absolutely beautiful. You can just do so many looks with them. You can wear them on their own. What I do love about the mini palettes is that you can do so many looks with them. You just get 5 pans and that's pretty much it there. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch this one out for you guys, and might as well do the swatching so we can see that. Okay. So this is the first 4, and I'll just do the one on the thumb is there. So the mini Pastel palette there, absolutely beautiful, and they're sort of like a duochrome formula. But I suppose the thing that really caught my eye about this is this beautiful blue shade here. It's so lovely. And this shade here is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, they're all beautiful. They're all beautiful shades. So that's that one. That's the mini Pastel palette by Natasha Denona. Of course. I mean, we know it's a Natasha Denona video, Julie. We don't have to keep saying Natasha Denona, right? Just going to wipe that off. The next palette I'm going to talk about is the Mini Love palette. And this one here is such a fond palette of mine. Absolutely stunning. We've got pinks, we've got mauves, purples, nice cream shade. So this is the Mini Love palette. I'm going to swatch this one out. I'll start off with the thumb first, so then I can do the rest. Mini Love palette, rosy toned palette, definitely very wearable, and I think the best shade for me out of this whole palette is this purpley shade right there. So nice. That one is called Ari. Another favorite of mine, and I actually broke this one, but it's the Mini Gold palette. Ooh, it's flaking everywhere, just got to be careful. The Mini Gold palette. I don't have, unfortunately, the Midi Gold palette that came out. I do wish I had it. I don't even know if it was a Midi or was it a bigger size one, maybe. Can't recall. I missed out on that palette. I wanted to get it. I should have just got it when I had the chance, but I didn't. I don't know. I just didn't do it. But here it is, the little Mini Gold palette, so beautiful. And there we have Mini Gold palette, splendid, absolutely beautiful. Sort of earthy, khaki, olivey, obviously gold shades. Still very upset that I actually missed on missed on owning the bigger, larger palette. If it came out again, like, I'm probably sure that I could find it somewhere, but it'd probably be like triple the price, and I'm not gonna do that. But well, if Natasha decides to re-release the gold palette, the larger size, I'm definitely up for getting it. So hopefully maybe one day she'll do it. I don't know. Okay, the next mini eyeshadow palette is the Glam palette, Mini Glam. Now this one here, I wanted to get the Glam. Like I said, with most of these, I really did want to get the full size. I really do prefer smaller mini palettes compared to larger ones. It's just the truth. I mean, you know, obviously you can get more, you know, you can work with a lot more colors in a bigger palette, but who needs a bigger palette when you can just have these? Let's swatch the gorgeous Mini Glam. And the Mini Glam reminds me of the Mini Nude and the Mini Camel palette. That's the thumb shade there. Look at these, so beautiful, earthy, nude, glinty. Makes me want to eat these, honestly. That's not hard pan, that's only because I had a wet finger, so I've obviously made it hard pan now, but that's okay, easily scrapes off. Now we've got the Mini Star. The Mini Star palette is, I think, actually my very first mini eyeshadow palette that I actually got from Natasha. This, I think, is the very first one. I don't know if this got much hype, but how could it not? Look at these gorgeous shades. Let's go ahead and swatch. Thumb. That's this shade right there. Look at the duochrome on that. It's like greeny, reddy, beautiful. Look at these shades, so nice. I mean, bronzy, coppery, brown, and a gold. Mini Star, so lovely. My last mini sized palette that I own is the mini Metropolis palette. I don't know what the hype was with the Metropolis palette when it came out. It didn't appeal to me one bit, not one bit, but when this little mini one came out, I was all for it. It came out during Christmas time, and it came out with a little brush, and I thought, yep, why not? I think the real reason I picked it up was because of the brush, to be honest. I am a sucker for brushes if it comes to getting a free brush with something. And they're good quality brushes too, I find. I think Natasha's actually coming out with a mini brush travel set. It's the gold shade there. And look at these beautiful tones. These are like definitely earthy jewel tones. I mean, the Metropolis palette didn't really speak to me at the time because I just found it was a little bit boring, and I know boring's good and everything like that, but I've got to be excited by the color story. I've got to be wowed, and it just didn't wow me, unfortunately. It didn't wow me enough. And again, with all the Natasha Denona palettes, they are very expensive. I really just didn't want to fork out hundreds of dollars for all of these palettes when I'm just really not going to use them. I mean, when am I going to use them? But anyway, moving on to this little chunky, this is, look, compared to the mini palettes, this is a little bit bigger, these ones, and she came out with these. I don't know if she kept making these ones and she stopped, but there was, I think, 10 or 12, maybe even more of these sizes. But I only ever got this one, and I remember I got this in a lucky bag, the Beautylish lucky bag, which I am waiting patiently for mine to arrive. I did wake up very early in the morning, set my alarm to just jump on the internet and grab one of the lucky bags because I missed out last year. And did I miss out the year before? I'm not sure. Maybe. I love the lucky bags. Please, I just can't wait till it arrives. I'm going to obviously do a video on that. So let's go ahead and swatch this one. This is the Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette number 5. Well, it's got palette number 5, but then underneath it's got palette number 2. Show you guys there. See what I mean? Palette number 5, yeah, palette number 2. I think it's known as the Cranberry palette. It's a beautiful neutral rosy tone palette. I have used this a fair bit. Thumb shade first, followed by the mauves. And these are so satiny, so buttery, velvety, these shadows, as with most of them are. She does a lot of cream formulas, a lot of velvet formulas, a lot of formulas that are just, that can work in different ways. But this Cranberry palette definitely has gotten a lot of use. At first, when I used to put it on my eyes, it used to sort of like get lost in my eye shade. It used to get lost in my eyelid. When I say lost in my eyelid, it was kind of like the color wouldn't stand out. It was sort of, it would disappear into my eyelid shade. So a really good primer helps with that. For example, the Anastasia eye primer works really, really well for that. Now, I'm not going to swatch this next palette only because it's huge, but this is the Sunrise palette. This is one of these palettes that you just have the purples, the pinks, the creams, the corals, the yellows, just so beautiful. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I have a tutorial using this. I'll link it to this video should you want to check it out. But definitely the right term to name this palette, Sunrise indeed. I didn't get there's the Sunrise palette and there's also the Sunset palette. I found the Sunset palette too warm toned for my liking. I really appreciate the pops of pinks in here and the lilacs and the purples and the oranges and even the little bit of bronze going on here. Just so much more versatile than the Sunset palette, I find. So yeah, this is absolutely a gorgeous MIDI palette, and they are easily, you can rearrange the colors if you like. Just they've got these little inserts here which you can pop out, or you could also mix and match with other Natasha Denona MIDI sizes. For me, I just like to keep everything intact. But yeah, and then finally, last but not least, one of my absolute favorite palettes of all time. It's the Bloom Blush and Glow palette. This got so much hype and deserved the hype. Very pigmented, cranberry shade, nudie pink shade. I'll just take this little thing off it, but there you go. So this is a cream formula, powder. I'll just swatch those out for you. These were so unusual when they came out. A lot of people weren't, not disappointed, but they were just like, a little bit of it goes a long way. Like this cream shade here, this cranberry shade. You don't need a lot, but I just had to clean up because this fell out. I just had to quickly pause the video because this fell out, and I'm just patting it back into place. But that's a powder formula. So I'll go ahead now and just swatch these out. I've already swatched the cranberry shade, pinky nude shade, goldy shade, and the corally shade. And they're the tones in the Bloom palette. Stunning. This side's called the glow side and that side's called the blush side. Do you guys own this palette, and do you still use it? You can use it on your eyes as well. You can use it on your lips, especially this shade here. But very versatile. And yeah, she obviously came out with a lot more other palettes similar to this. She came out with the bronze palette, and she also then did a little mini bronze and glow palette. She really has expanded the line with those palettes, and I hope she continues to do these types of palettes because I really do love them. I think they're great. Do you think these are more better value than the Midi palettes? And do you think these are better value in general? So guys, that was it. It's a bit of a medium-sized video. I just really wanted to have a chat about these, and if you're interested in me doing a look with any of these palettes, please let me know in the comments below. I'm more than happy to do that for you. And for those of you new to my channel, if you'd consider subscribing, that would mean so much to me. And I will see you all again next time. Have a lovely day or night wherever you are. Bye for now.